Okay, so I'm wrapping up sanding. I keep saying that. But I'm sanding the inside of the hood right now. This side I have not sanded. This side I have. Sanding sponge is my newest favorite item. I'm going to be sanding the inside of the doors and the tailgate. And then tomorrow morning I am going to Duraback the inside of everything. And then I'm going to wait 24 hours, flip them over, and then I'm going to Duraback the body as well as the door panels, and wait 24 hours, put them back on, and then if I paint the stripes, then 24 hours I don't have to resand it. I had a really unsettling conversation with Duraback yesterday where they were like, oh, you can't use any primer, you have to use the special zinc phosphate primer, which wires were crossed with the communication I had with them previously, and they were like, well, you can try it, it might work. And I was like, this has been way too much work for it to might work. But I talked to Joe and he's like, you're fine, you can Duraback with it. Talked to my friend Danny who Duraback to Scout, and he was like, I just use Rattle Cam primer, you're fine. So I'm happy with that. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll be laying down some color, so I'm really excited. Okay, so I got the undersides painted. I might need to do a third or maybe fourth coat, but it's so hot right now that I think the panels are too hot to be spraying. So I want to either wait till it gets dark or wait till someone comes home that can help me put the canopy over these. I really like the color. I'm happy with it. You know, it's got some stuff blowing into it. Not perfect, but you know, I'm painting it outside, I'm Durabacking it, and for what it is, I think it looks pretty dang good. So I'm happy. Okay, so everything taped off and papered off and whatever else. I'm going to use the zinc phosphate primer that Duraback recommends on all of this bare metal. It's got a 24-hour overcoat time. So I'm gonna hit it tonight, and then I've got my Tamco primer I'm gonna hit in the spots that I need to tomorrow right before, because it's got a shorter overcoat time, and then I'll be ready to Duraback. My mom helped me move the sun canopy over the Bronco once it started drizzling, but before we were able to get it on there, quite a few raindrops hit it and left marks. So that's really a bummer. I talked to Duraback. They said I can sand it and reshoot it. I tried sanding the other side, and I think it's just gonna make a big sandy grit mess, which it's gonna look worse than the actual raindrop. I'm a little bummed too because you can actually see sand lines in it, and it's really orange peely, which I don't know. I shot it pretty wet. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I think I'm gonna do is just shoot over the raindrops again today. It's only been, it will have been 24 hours when I shoot again tonight, so I'm okay with that. I got some overspray in here. This area's already been prepped, so it's not a huge deal. So I just kind of gave it a real light sanding. I'm gonna wipe it out with xylene before I shoot it again. I had quite a bit of overspray on these pieces from shooting the underside, and since it's been more than 48 hours, I resanded it and just kind of gave it a little buff. I've been using a sanding sponge instead of a sanding block, and that's been so much better. I wish I would have been using a sanding sponge from the start. So I need to do the underside of the doors next, and then I'll probably have to tape off the areas where I've shot underneath, like on the sides there. And then I shot the tip of the hood yesterday. I'm not sure if it was a great idea, but my plan is I don't want to shoot it horizontal because sometimes the air compressor hose drips. So I shot the tip of that so that I can lay it on its nose, and then I can shoot it standing up. And since it's been only 24 hours, I'll be okay overcoating the area. So I hope that was a good idea. I guess we'll find out. And yeah, it'll look great from 10 feet away. And you know, for doing a resto in my driveway and having zero experience with this stuff, it's as good as we're probably gonna get. Okay, so I was leaning up the door against the wall so I could clean the floor and prep the driveway, and it fell, and it has a huge dent right here. I just knocked it out as well as I could with a pry bar. I kind of pounded it from the other side, and it's all chewed up in here. So this is like little dents, so I'm gonna quick try to Bondo this. I have to paint this tonight because the coat that I'll be coating over was done yesterday and I have to do within the window. So yeah, we're getting to it. Didn't cry, proud of myself. Oh boy, we're doing it. A little bit nervous. Kind of a shit show without having, without having a proper paint booth. And not just that, but even like the little racks you can hang things on, like everything being on the ground is just really a losing battle. I am so freaking stoked about this. The air compressor puked water in it before, and I tried cleaning it up. You would think I would have learned, but I just made it worse, and there was a lot of bugs in it, and the paper flew up and kicked more crap into it. So I lightly sanded the whole thing, and I reshot it, and I did it in the garage, and it looks so good. I'm really happy. Okay, so I think I got the nose where it needs to be. I put some really big heavy washers in there between the bushing, and you can really see how wonky the door is now, but it looks good. And this is a nice straight line, so yeah, I'm happy with it. All right, so here is the preliminary taping of the stripes. I just kind of want to get a general feel for it. I've got my tape measure. I found a soft one, like for sewing. This Durapec is so soft that just me resting the tape measure on it left a dent in it. Like so I would highly recommend not using Durapec if you're gonna be painting something. So what I'm running into is it's 13.5 inches from right below the dent to right, the other body line, 13.25 here, and then it's like 11.5 on that end. But I want the lines to be consistent. So I was thinking having the red being slightly bigger, but I think for the sake of trying to be consistent, I'm going to do even thirds and then measure at different points in the body and then just break it in thirds and mark it. I have these, they're used for like dry erase on glass and windshield markers. So I'll be marking it with this, and then I want to have this line be straight up and down where it curves. And then I was kind of debating between having it going along here or going straight to the hood and going down the center. So I'm still not sure what I'll be doing with that, but the tape, I have like the 3M 1/8 inch tape is what I'm using, and it's actually really easy to work with. So I was kind of worried about that, but it's actually pretty fun. So yeah, it's one of those things. I finished it and I was like, wow, this actually looks really good for just messing around. And the longer I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, I think I need to measure. But I think it's gonna look really cool when it's done. I really hope that the Durapec hardens up within the next month or so. It's really discouraging that I put so much into it and it's just soft. Like I might as well have used, a single stage or even Rust-Oleum at this point. Like it's just, whatever. I am so excited with how my hood is turning out. I just really hope I can paint it nicely. I've got an airbrush. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So how I'm doing it is I'm basically just plotting lines as I go, measuring off the other side and measuring across and then against the hood and then kind of going off of that. And then doing the same thing on my body lines here, measuring, kind of plotting a straight line, and that helps me keep it straight. This stuff is nice because it's really easy to do corners with, but also it's easy to get little wiggles in your straight lines. So yeah, I'm jazzed about this hood, like so stoked. I really like these body lines too, so say a little prayer for me that I can paint it well. But either way, I'm excited about how well this tape job came out. All right, so I spent the day taping and sanding. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. I didn't realize how tired I was till I heard my voice. I'm going to paint the bottom stripe first. I went back and forth a lot of different ways as far as how I wanted to do this. The way I'm doing it, I'll have to take the tape off when it's dry, which makes me susceptible to peeling up the paint. But I can touch up the paint if I do that, and it's probably the only way it's actually gonna make sense. I got this like scraper from Harbor Freight. I'm gonna try to block as much of the overspray as I can, just because I'm afraid it's gonna get really thick around those tape lines. So wish me luck. There's like a million things that can go wrong. Painting outside sucks. Like, I just know the bugs are gonna come. Where I live, like, I swear it rains just like on a dime without anything in the forecast. So I'm kind of nervous, but go big or go home, right? Okay, I want to show the progress about the stripes and how they're coming along. I am actually really excited. If the tape pulls up nicely and the next two colors go on smoothly, we will be smooth sailing. I was painting until 10 o'clock last night. I had a work light on, which is actually not as many bugs as I thought there was going to be, so I'm happy with that. So I'm hopeful. I think it's gonna look pretty close to how it looks in my head. So here is the first stripe. I think it actually looks really good. I laid it on really heavy, and so it's nice and glassy. Probably hard to see. My tape lifted up. I just retaped it. So there's a bit of overspray on the nose right here. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. All right, I'm gearing up to shoot the last color. It was supposed to be raining all morning. I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up at 2 and I checked it and it was like, rain starting in half an hour, and raining the whole day. And so I was like, well, crap, because I gotta paint this last stripe. And I woke up this morning and it was like beautiful overcast morning. I was actually able to work without being too hot. So I was so thankful for that, because I was praying hard for that. But it's been like spitting a couple of raindrops every, like, just a teeny bit. And I'm nervous because Durback stays tacky for a long time. But the sun's kind of peeking through, so I think I'm gonna go for it. I shot the orange last night. I think it looks really good. I gotta fix this. I'm glad I just saw that. Yeah, so last color, and then I'll pull everything off and we can see the finished product. Just really hope the weather cooperates.